Hello everyone, myself Garima. This session is for GNM second year, and in today's session we're gonna talk about the topic congenital heart disease. Firstly, we will discuss about the anatomy and physiology of heart. The heart is roughly triangular in shape. It is made up of special muscle called cardiac muscle. The size of our heart is about the same as our clenched fist. The heart has four compartments called chambers. The upper two chambers of heart are called atria, singular is known as atrium, and the lower two chambers of heart are called ventricles. The two atria receive blood from the two main veins, and the two ventricles transport blood to the entire body and the lungs. The left atrium is connected to the left ventricle through a valve 1, which is also known as a mitral valve. Similarly, the right atrium is connected to the right ventricle through another valve V2, which is also known as tricuspid valve. These valves prevent the backflow of blood into atria when the ventricles contract to pump blood out of the heart to the rest of the body. This is because when the ventricles contract, the valves V1 and V2 close automatically so that the blood may not go back into atria. The job of heart is to pump blood around our body. All the atria and ventricles of the heart contract and relax at appropriate times and make the heart behave like a pump. Since ventricles have to pump blood into various organs with high pressure, they have thicker wall than atria. A sheath of tissue called pericardium protects the muscular heart. The chambers of the heart are separated by partition called septum. Now the physiology of heart. When the muscles of all the four chambers of the heart are relaxed, the pulmonary vein brings the oxygenated blood from the lungs into the left atrium of the heart. Then when the left atrium contracts, the oxygenated blood is pushed into the left ventricle through the valve V1. When the left ventricle contracts, the oxygenated blood is forced into the main artery called aorta. This main artery then branches into smaller arteries which go into different body organs. The smaller artery, which is also called as arterioles, further branch into capillaries. The main artery carries blood to all the organs of the body like head, chest, arms, stomach, intestines, liver, kidney, trunk and legs, except the lungs. When the oxygenated blood passes through the capillaries of the body organs, then it gives oxygen to the body cells. Since the blood losses oxygen here, we say that the blood has been deoxygenated. The blood also gives the digested food and other dissolved materials to the body cells. At the same time, carbon dioxide produced as a waste material during respiration enters into the blood. The deoxygenated blood from the body organs enter into the main vein called vena cava. The main vein carries the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium of the heart. When the right atrium contracts, deoxygenated blood is pushed into the right ventricle through the valve V2. And when the right ventricle contracts, the deoxygenated blood is pumped into the lungs through the pulmonary artery. In the lungs, deoxygenated blood releases its carbon dioxide and absorbs fresh oxygen from air, so the blood becomes oxygenated again. This oxygenated blood is again sent to the left atrium of heart by pulmonary vein for circulation in the body. This whole process is repeated continuously. In this way, the blood keeps on circulating in our body without stopping, due to which all the body parts keep on getting oxygen, digested food, and other materials all the time. The blood circulation also keeps on removing waste products formed in the cells of the body. So now the next is anatomy and physiology of a fetal heart. In this, first we will see the structure of fetal heart. There are five adaptations during the intrauterine life in fetal heart, which are as follows. First one is the umbilical vein. Umbilical vein carries oxygen and nutrients to the fetus. Second is two umbilical arteries. These two umbilical arteries carry deoxygenated blood and waste products from the fetus. Third is ductus venosus, which is from vein to vein. Ductus venosus shunts blood from the umbilical vein to the inferior vena cava, bypassing the liver and the organs of digestion. Fourth is foramen ovale. Foramen ovale shunts blood from the right atrium to the left atrium, bypassing the lungs. And last is ductus arteriosus. It is from an artery to an artery. Ductus arteriosus shunts blood from the pulmonary artery to the aorta by passing the lungs. So, in intrauterine period, lungs are not functioning, so purification of blood is done by the placenta of mother. So, let's see how the purified blood from the placenta is taken to the fetus. It is taken through umbilical vein. So here it is actually the vein which is carrying the purified blood, whereas in adult we have the arteries carrying the purified blood. So here from the placenta the purified blood is carried through umbilical vein to the fetus. So in the beginning, umbilical vein consists of two umbilical arteries and one umbilical vein. The two umbilical arteries carry deoxygenated blood and waste products from the fetus to the placenta, and the one umbilical vein carries oxygenated blood and provides oxygen and nutrients to the fetus from the placenta. Now, the physiology of fetal heart, fetal circulation. In fetus, lungs are collapsed and the site of oxygenation of blood is maternal placenta. The umbilical vein brings oxygenated maternal blood from placenta. Then oxygenated blood then passes through the ductus venosus and inferior vena cava to the right atrium. From right atrium, it goes across foramen ovale to the left atrium, left ventricle and aorta. Now the superior vena cava brings deoxygenated blood from upper half of the body to right atrium, right ventricle and pulmonary artery. The blood from the right ventricle flows into the pulmonary artery, but because fetal lungs are collapsed, the pressure in the pulmonary artery is very high. Then the most of the blood passes into the aorta through the ductus arteriosus, which connects the pulmonary artery and the aorta. From the aorta, blood flows to the rest of the body. Majority of this deoxygenated blood in pulmonary artery goes to the aorta via ductus arteriosus and then to placenta via umbilical artery for oxygenation. Now the introduction of a congenital heart disease. Congenital heart disease को हम congenital heart anomaly और congenital heart defect भी बोलते हैं. The incidence of congenital heart disease in children is approximately 5 to 8 per thousand live births. The congenital heart disease occurs because of the structural malformation of heart during embryogenesis and fetal life. These defects are present at birth and are seen in 1 to 2% of all live born babies, and the major cause of death in the first year of life is congenital heart disease, and the most common congenital heart anomaly is ventricular septal defect, which is also known as VSD. Now the etiology. Congenital heart disease results from either abnormal embryonic development or persistence of the fetal structure beyond the time of normal involution. The cause remains unknown in about 90% of cases. In the rest, various commonly associated factors responsible are listed. First one is fetal and maternal infections occurring during first trimester. Second is teratogenic effects of drugs and alcohol during pregnancy. Third is maternal dietary deficiencies. Fourth is maternal diabetes. Fifth is febrile illness in third semester of pregnancy. Sixth is exposure to organic solvents, for an example, pesticides, radiation. And last is genetic factors, for an example, Down syndrome. Now the classification of congenital heart disease. Congenital heart disease are divided into two parts. First is acyanotic heart disease and second is cyanotic heart disease. Now the first one is acyanotic heart disease. In acyanotic heart disease, infant has no cyanosis because there is no mixing of unoxygenated blood in the systemic circulation. So in this first one is atrial septal defect. एट्रियल सेप्टल डिफेक्ट में क्या होता है, एबनॉर्मल ओपनिंग होती है बिटवीन द एट्रियम which allowing the blood from the higher pressure left atrium to flow into the lower pressure right atrium. Because of this, right atrial and ventricular enlargement occurs and infant may be asymptomatic or may develop heart failure. There are three types of atrial septal defect. First one is ASD1 which is also known as ostium premium. इसमें क्या होता है, ओपनिंग होती है एट द लोअर एंड ऑफ द सेप्टम विच मे बी एसोसिएटेड विद मिट्रल वेल्व एबनॉर्मेलिटीज़. सेकेंड इज़ ASD सेकेंड विच इज़ ऑल्सो नोन एज ऑस्टियम सिकंडम. इसमें क्या होता है कि ओपनिंग होती है नियर द सेंटर ऑफ द सेप्टम. देन थर्ड आता है ASD थर्ड विच इज़ ऑल्सो नोन एज साइनस विनोसिस डिफेक्ट. इसमें क्या होता है, ओपनिंग होती है नियर द जंक्शन ऑफ सुपीरियर वेना केवा एंड द राइट एट्रियम. Clinical features include decreased peripheral pulses, exercise intolerance, feeding difficulties, hypotension, irritability, restlessness, lethargy, oliguria, pale, cool extremities, tachycardia. Diagnostic evaluation are echocardiogram, electrocardiogram, chest X-ray, and cardiac catheterization. Then the management. Surgical management includes surgical patch closure, which is done by pericardial patch or a Dacron patch. Is done for moderate to large defects, and if the surgery is not done during childhood, then pulmonary hypertension, atrial arrhythmias, and cardiac failure make operation more hazardous in adult life. The non-surgical management include in this patient receive low dose aspiration for 6 months. Then next is ventricular septal defect. ventricular septal defect में होता क्या है, abnormal communication होता है between the right and left ventricles, and many ventricular septal defect जो होते हैं वो क्लोज हो जाते हैं ड्यूरिंग द फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ लाइफ इन हैविंग स्मॉल और मॉडरेट डिफेक्ट्स. इन टाइप्स ऑफ ventricular septal defect are there are 4 types of ventricular septal defect. First is membranous ventricular septal defect. इसमें क्या होता है, ओपनिंग होती है इन द अपर सेक्शन ऑफ द ventricular septum near the aortic and tricuspid valves. Then second आता है muscular ventricular septal defect. इसमें क्या होता है, ओपनिंग होती है muscular portion of the lower section of the ventricular septum. Then third आता है atrioventricular canal type ventricular septal defect. ये वाला जो डिफेक्ट होता है वो कहाँ पर होता है, कहाँ पर लोकेटेड होता है, नेक्स्ट टू द ट्राइकस्पिड एंड मिट्रल वेल्व्स. Then clinical features include fatigue, sweating, tachypnea, murmur, heavy breathing, congested breathing, disinterest in feeding or tiring while feeding, poor weight gain. The larger the opening, the greater the amount of blood that passes through and overloads the right ventricle and lungs. Then diagnostic evaluation includes cardiac auscultation, ECG, echocardiography, and chest X-ray. मैनेजमेंट इन सर्जिकल मैनेजमेंट हम कंप्लीट रिपेयर करेंगे. ये प्रोसीजर ऑफ चॉइस है. इसमें करेंगे क्या कि स्मॉल डिफेक्ट है उसको रिपेयर करेंगे विद सूचर्स, एंड लार्ज डिफेक्ट को हम रिपेयर करेंगे. एंड लार्ज डिफेक्ट्स यूजुअली रिक्वायर that a knitted Dacron patch be sewn over the opening. And medical management include digoxin देंगे, है ना. It is a medication that helps strengthen the heart muscle so it can pump more efficiently. Then diuretics देंगे. These medications help the kidneys remove excess fluid from the body. Then ACE inhibitors देंगे. These medications lowers the blood pressure in the body. Then next आता है पेटेंट डक्टस आर्टेरियोसिस. पेटेंट डक्टस आर्टेरियोसिस में होता क्या है, इसमें डक्टस आर्टेरियोसिस जो है वो क्लोज ही नहीं हो पाता है विद इन द फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ लाइफ. ओके, व्हाट इज डक्टस आर्टेरियोसिस? डक्टस आर्टेरियोसिस it is an artery which connects the aorta and the pulmonary artery. Clinical features: tachycardia. What is tachycardia? Heart rate exceeding the normal resting rate. Dyspnea, shortness of breath. Machinery like murmur sound present. Cardiomegaly. What is cardiomegaly? Enlarged heart, which is reflecting the ventricular dilation and volume overload. Then left subclavicular thrill, bounding pulse, widened pulse pressure, not feeding well, sweating while feeding. Then diagnostic evaluation include echocardiography, ECG, chest X-ray. Then medical management include administration of endomethacin. Endomethacin is a prostaglandin inhibitor, and a surgical division or ligation of the patent vessels is performed via a left thoracotomy. Then coarctation of the aorta. In this, there is a localized narrowing near the insertion of the ductus arteriosus, which results in increased pressure proximal to the defect, that is head and upper extremities, and decreased pressure distal to the obstruction, that is body and lower extremities. Coarctation of the aorta happens when the aorta, the main artery that carries blood from the heart to the rest of the body, is too narrow. Coarctation means narrowing of the short section of the aorta. Okay, so coarctation of the aorta happens when the aorta is too narrow. This is usually a congenital heart defect, and when the narrowing is mild, child may not even have symptoms. Sometimes, especially as child grows, surgery or treatment may be needed. And the clinical features include high blood pressure, bounding pulse in the arms, weak or absent femoral pulses, cool lower extremities with lower blood pressure. In infants with critical coarctation, the hemodynamic condition may deteriorate rapidly with severe acidosis and hypotension. Then older children may experience dizziness, headaches, fainting, epistaxis, which is resulting from hypertension, and patients are at risk for hypertension, ruptured aorta, aortic aneurysm, and stroke. Diagnostic evaluation include chest X-ray, ECG, cardiac MRI. Management include Surgical management. In this, surgically repair is by resection of the co-erected portion with an end-to-end anastomosis of the aorta. What is anastomosis? Anastomosis is a connection or opening between two things that are normally diverging, or enlargement of the constricted section using a graft of prosthetic material or a portion of the left subclavian artery. Then the non-surgical management include balloon angioplasty, which is being performed as a primary intervention for co-erectation of the aorta in older infants and children, and in adolescents. Stents may be placed in the aorta to maintain patency. The next is cyanotic heart disease. In cyanotic heart disease, infant shows varying degrees of cyanosis because unoxygenated blood enters the systemic circulation. In this first one is a tetralogy of Fallot. Tetralogy of Fallot एक मोस्ट कॉमन टाइप है साइनोटिक हार्ट डिजीज़ का, साइनोटिक कंजेनाइटल हार्ट डिजीज़ का, जिसमें 4 डिफेक्ट्स आते हैं. फर्स्ट आता है वेंट्रिकुलर सेप्टल डिफेक्ट, सेकंड आता है पल्मोनरी स्टेनोसिस, थर्ड आता है ओवरराइडिंग आयोटा, एंड लास्ट आता है राइट वेंट्रिकुलर हाइपरट्रॉफी. फर्स्ट वन इज़ अ वेंट्रिकुलर सेप्टल डिफेक्ट. एज आई told you earlier, in ventricular septal defect there is a hole in the heart wall, that is septum, that separates the two ventricles. This hole is usually large and allows oxygen poor blood in the right ventricle to pass through, mixing with oxygen rich blood in the left ventricle. This poorly oxygenated blood is then pumped out of the left ventricle to the rest of the body. The body gets some oxygen but not all that it needs. This lack of oxygen in the blood causes cyanosis in the baby. Second is pulmonary stenosis. The major issue with tetralogy of Fallot is the severity of pulmonary valve stenosis. Since ventricular septal defect is always present, if the stenosis is mild, minimal cyanosis occur, since the oxygen poor blood from the right ventricle can pass through the pulmonic vein to the lungs, and less of it passes through the ventricular septal defect. However, if the pulmonary stenosis is moderate to severe, a smaller amount of blood reaches the lungs, since most is shunted right to left through the ventricular septal defect. Third is overriding aorta. Overriding aorta is also known as abnormal position of the aorta. In this, the aorta, the main artery carrying blood out of the heart and into the circulatory system, which exits the heart from a position overriding the heart and left ventricle. Then last is a right ventricular hypertrophy. In right ventricular hypertrophy is a right ventricular thickening or hypertrophy occurs in response to narrowing or obstruction at or below the pulmonic valve due to an increase in right ventricular work and pressure. Clinical features include an infant may be acutely cyanotic at birth or may have mild cyanosis that progresses over the first year of life as a pulmonic stenosis worsens. Then murmur. Child may have difficulty in feeding, tired easily with exertion. Then acute episodes of cyanosis and hypoxia, which is also called as blue spells or tet spells. In radiograph, the heart is boot shaped, that is because the poor development of pulmonary artery. Then clubbing of fingers, poor growth and development. And then squatting. Squatting is a compensatory mechanism to facilitate increased return of blood flow to the heart for oxygenation. Then diagnostic evaluation, history collection, physical examination, echocardiography, cardiac catheterization, chest x-ray. Then management includes surgical management. In this, palliative and corrective surgery for tetralogy of Fallot is being done on infants and children of all ages. Palliative procedures may be done to increase pulmonary blood flow. In this, a side-to-side anastomosis. What is anastomosis? Anastomosis is a connection or opening between two things that are normally diverging. So, a side-to-side anastomosis of the ascending aorta and right pulmonary artery in neonates. Then anastomosis of the upper descending aorta and left pulmonary artery, which is also known as Potts procedure. Then corrective procedures include complete repair of tetralogy of Fallot, includes closure of the ventricular septal defect in a manner that ensures left ventricular aortic continuity, and corrective surgery at an early age prevents children from continuing to be crippled by their defect even after previous surgery has been a success. Then next is a transposition of great arteries or transposition of the great vessels. In this, the pulmonary artery leaves the left ventricle and the aorta exits from the right ventricle with no communication between the systemic and pulmonary circulation. In this, the two major arteries that carry blood away from the heart, the aorta and the pulmonary artery, are switched, means are changed. Transposition means change. Clinical features include the following are the other most common symptoms of transposition of the great arteries. However, each child may experience symptoms differently. Symptoms may include rapid breathing, labored breathing, rapid heart rate, cool and clammy skin. Diagnostic evaluation include chest X-ray, ECG, echo, cardiac catheterization. Management. In therapeutic management, the administration of intravenous prostaglandins E1 may be initiated to keep the ductus arteriosus open to temporarily increase blood mixing and provide an oxygen saturation of 75% or to maintain cardiac output. And in surgical management, an atrial switch procedure is the procedure of choice performed in the first weeks of life. It involves transecting the great arteries and anastomizing the pulmonary artery to the proximal aorta and anastomizing the ascending aorta to the proximal pulmonary artery. Next is total anomalous pulmonary venous connection. It is a rare defect which is characterized by failure of the pulmonary veins to join the left atrium. The defect results in mixed blood being returned to the right atrium and shunted from the right to the left through an atrial septal defect. In this, the right side of the heart hypertrophies, whereas the left side of the heart may remain same. Total anomalous pulmonary venous return is a rare congenital malformation in which all four pulmonary veins do not connect normally to the left atrium. Instead, the four pulmonary veins drain abnormally to the right atrium, that is right upper chamber, by the way of an abnormal, means anomalous connection. Clinical features include cyanosis, cough, crackles and wheezes, dyspnea, grunting in infants, head bobbing in infants, nasal flaring, tachypnea. Then diagnostic evaluation include physical examination, chest X-ray, ECG, echo, cardiac catheterization. Management. Surgical management include first is corrective repair is performed in early infancy. The surgical approach varies with the anatomic defect, and second is the common pulmonary vein is anastomosed to the back of the left atrium. The atrial septal defect is closed and the anomalous pulmonary venous connection is ligated. Then nursing management of congenital heart disease. Expert nursing care is essential to reduce the cardiac demands that strain the failing heart muscle. During this time, the child and family require emotional support, although the objectives of nursing care are the same. Interventions differ depending on the child's age. The nursing management of congenital heart disease includes: first one is assisted measure to improve cardiac function, second is monitor afterload reduction, third is decrease cardiac demands, fourth one is reduce respiratory distress, fifth one is maintain nutritional status, and last one is assist and measure to promote fluid loss. Thank you.